Welcome to the Grand Compendium. Today I have two horror stories set in the universe of Call of Cthulhu, a cosmic horror RPG, which usually has a noir aesthetic to my knowledge. So I thought I'd give this video a bit of that to set our mood for today. Isn't that a nice change of scenery? The first story I have today is about a DM who decided to retcon a major part of his game, and causing our OP to quit, and then eventually leading to that DM being banned from the game store they played at. Our second story is of a player who became uncomfortable with how their keeper was trying to portray a realistic 1920s aesthetic. Let's begin. Our first story is titled GM Retcons First 4 Sessions, then Tries to Blame the Players. I've been playing RPGs for a long time, and I have a ton of horror stories. I'm going to start with this one. The game is Call of Cthulhu. I've never played it before, and always wanted to. Somebody at my LGS puts up a notice that they are going to run a Call of Cthulhu one-shot that may turn into a campaign. They quickly had spots filled, and we were off. The DM quickly scheduled 0 day. 0 day came, and we were all building characters. And this is where the first problem popped up. The DM had no idea how to build characters. Couldn't answer questions on how to build them, basically had zero knowledge of the system at all. We were on our own for character creation. What could have taken a few hours turned into 5 hours of just character building, with them talking about the one-shot and what they expected from our characters. Okay, interesting, but okay. We agreed to meet every Wednesday at 5 p.m. We were gonna run 5 to 9, the store closes at 10, so we figured we could use the last hour just in case we were in the middle of something and need to go over, or just leveling up characters. First few sessions went okay. You could tell they were new to the system since they couldn't answer anything. Session 3, we were all there at 5. DM is nowhere to be found. All attempts to contact them were met with silence. We all had nothing better to do, so we waited around. Around 6, the DM walks through the door holding a bag of food, sits down at the table, and proceeds to eat for the next half hour. Doesn't even acknowledge us, doesn't attempt to give us a reason for the lateness, just sits down and starts eating. It's 6:30 and I hear, "Are you ready to start yet?" coming from the DM in a very clear attitude. I fire back with, "I've been ready since 5. They reply back, "I don't appreciate your tone." I let it go, it's not worth it. We all sit down and start the session. About an hour and a half or so into the session, they say they have to end it there. Packs their shit up and leaves. It's 8. We're scheduled till 9. Some of us were pissed. I should have said this before. Out of the 6 players in the group, 3 of them are friends with the DM. One of the players left after session 3. They were a random player who I didn't know. And the other player was actually in one of my D&D games. At the time I ran 3 D&D games. 2 are open for the store and 1 was a private game. 4th session, we all show up before 5. DM doesn't show till 6. Okay, whatever. I ask, "Hey, not for nothing, but I thought we agreed on 5. The DM fires back with, "I pushed it back to 6:30. I don't remember this conversation, but okay. Now, me and my D&D player friend have been taking notes this entire time. We have detailed notes of every session. I don't normally take notes at all, but this time I did because new system. A little more RP heavy, my character had a photographic memory, so it just plays out that way. Halfway through session 4, we're investigating the apartment of an NPC who died. Her death was central to the story, like we were all together because of her death. We get there, door is locked, so we lockpick our way in. And lo and behold, the NPC is sitting at the kitchen table, very much alive. Me. I thought they were dead. DM. Well, clearly they aren't. Me. We made the choices that we made because we were informed that the NPC was dead. If we knew they were alive, we would have made different choices. DM. Well, then I'm going to back and reworking this so that the NPC is alive. Other player. So our notes are pointless, great. Me looking at another table full of my D&D players. See, this is why I don't take notes. DM. Can we fucking stop with this bullshit? If you guys didn't take notes, this wouldn't be an issue. Me. Wait, what are you blaming us for your mistake? DM. I'm tired of all this attitude that I'm getting from you. Either fall in line with how I'm running, or you can leave. I sit there for a couple of seconds, debating on whether I want to stay and ruin this campaign, or just get up and leave. I look at them, I look at the rest of the party, I take my character sheet, rip it up, got up and said, well, now you can retcon something else from the campaign, and excused myself from the table. They start cussing me out, but I'm not even paying attention at this point. I walk over to another table with a bunch of my D&D players, only to see 2 more players get up from the table, ripping apart their character sheets. A few days later, I notice on the store's Discord that they put up an ad asking for more players, and this time they're charging to run the game. I just laugh. Then the next day, the store's owner pulled me off to the side and asked me what happened. Apparently, they filed a complaint against me for abusive behavior. I told them the story, and then told them I have witnesses to everything that transpired. I'm not claiming to be completely innocent, but I wasn't abusive at all. The owner said he believed me since they talked to a bunch of the others at the table, and they all said it was horseshit. That DM was later banned from the store for swearing at another player in a different game. I have no real moral to the story. End of story. And everyone stands up and claps. Yeah, part of me thinks the story is fake. Or at least very embellished. I mean, our OP rips up their character sheet and walks away, and then for whatever reason, 2 players at a completely different table decide to follow suit. Like, what did their DM do? Then there's OP's snarky dialogue like, this is why I don't take notes, and I guess you have something else to retcon. But setting that aside, I'll take this story at face value for a moment. If the GM really did just have a supposedly dead NPC come back to life because they felt like it, I'd say that's not a really good thing to do as a DM. Except for the fact that this is Call of Cthulhu, a cosmic horror game where weird shit like that will probably happen. And I'm betting that OP probably just assumed, oh no, my DM is such an idiot, he forgot his important story element. Since from the sounds of it, they never tried interacting with the scene in the slightest, and just jumped right into the arguing. Then for the GM being late or ending early, there's definitely merit there to be annoyed, but I have a strong feeling that if OP didn't hear the conversation about the game starting later, they probably don't care about other conversations. Because people have lives and jobs, and it's very possible that this GM had other priorities over his make-believe dice game. This also applies to eating at the table. People need food to function, and I can confidently say that I wouldn't be able to fully focus on a game I was running if I were hungry. Now, if we really take OP's word as the complete and absolute truth, then the GM is a bit of a dick for not saying anything. But again, that's if we take this OP's words as complete truth, and not a bunch of overly embellished horse shit. Anyways, on to the next story. Our second story is titled, That Time My Character Almost Got Lynched in Call of Cthulhu. Content warning, talk of racially motivated violence. TLDR, I play a black character in a Call of Cthulhu game set in the 1920s. The investigation goes wrong and my character is chased by a group of bad guys. After escaping them, I found out that a few hours later, a black man was beaten and hanged in the same part of town my character was, thus turning me off of Call of Cthulhu classic 1920 setting. I want to preface that despite this incendiary title, there is no bad blood between me and the Keeper. Some years ago, after discovering Call of Cthulhu through YouTube, I decided that I wanted to try it. Quickly enough, I found a Discord server full of people running games, one-shots and campaigns alike. It's in one of those campaigns that I meet the Keeper of this story. I'll refer to him as K. At first, we were both PCs in my first campaign ever in Call of Cthulhu. During this short time, we established a friendly connection through our liking of the game. He was way more experienced than me with a vast knowledge of the game and the mythos, and helped me continuously during the sessions. After the end of the campaign, Kay posted on the server about his own original game that would be starting soon. I immediately jumped on the occasion, and he seemed very happy to have me as a player. I started working on my character and settled on an occultist from West African country Burkina Faso, who had gotten a peek into the madness lurking beyond the normal, and had left everything behind and traveled the world in order to learn more about the Cthulhu mythos. My character was approved by Kay, but he immediately warned me that a black foreigner in Canada, the country this story was taking place in, would definitely experience racism. For those who are not aware, the classic setting for Call of Cthulhu is the 1920s, a time that was not necessarily the best for minorities in North America, or anywhere. However, most of the keepers on this server had come up with what they called 1920s aesthetic but modern mentality, which basically meant that while the game was taking place in the 20s, they've reduced the bigotry to a minimum, some totally erasing it from the game. It was both to make it easy on them, as no one is really keen into role-playing shitty people, but also to make sure players could come up with characters of any backgrounds. This was not the case with Kay. He thought that playing a more true-to-life 1920s would add to the horror already present in the game, and give the players a sense of hopelessness by being stuck between unkind human beings and monstrosities from another realm. As a black person myself, I was hesitant at first, but based on my previous interactions with Kay, I trusted him with handling the world, especially since he promised me that the NPCs we needed to interact with would always be cooperative. Soon enough, we started the game with 2 other PCs and Kay as our keeper. The story was honestly very interesting. A man was found dead in his apartment with everything locked from the inside, and with both his body and the apartment in a state of extreme decomposition, despite only being reported missing for a few days. Quickly, we found out that this man was addicted to a tea brewed from a strange and foreign plant that was being illegally smuggled inside of the town via the local mafia. The party then decided to go and explore the docks at night, hoping to find more information. Once there, we decided to split up, and my character found a group of 5 men emptying box crates in the night. As I decide to come closer to spy, the keeper makes me roll a stealth check, and that's when the worst happens. I rolled a critical fumble. I rolled a 100, which is the worst result you can get in the game. Kay then describes as I inadvertently knock over some barrels as I try to approach the group, immediately alerting them to my presence. Being spotted in this way immediately started a chase sequence where my character miraculously escaped the 5 men thanks to some very good rolls, and at the cost of pretty much all of my luck. I had to do this alone as neither of my party members were close enough from where I was to come and help. Fortunately, it didn't matter too much as I was able to make my way back to our meeting point. After this very tense moment, our characters in the game decided that we would take a rest and start our investigation again the next day. After this night of rest, our party met again to discuss our leads and what to do next. When the keeper announced that the newspaper had been delivered, he calls attention to it and asks if we wish to read it. As we all know, it's divine law that when your game master calls attention to something, you must investigate it. So I say yes, and ask him if I need to roll to see what I find. But he tells me there is no need, and starts describing the headline, and how yesterday a black man was violently beaten and then hanged near the docks. He even said that a picture of the victim was even included on the front page. It immediately dawned on me that if my character had lost the chase, that would have happened to him. This realization shook me in a very visceral way. Of course, like any Call of Cthulhu player, I know that death can be very quick and unfair. However, this extremely real and violent way to go was a lot. My character even had to do a sanity check as he realized the fate that could have been his. After the session, Kay reached out to me and asked me how I was feeling after such a tense moment. I let him know that it was a lot, but that I was happy to have survived, even though my character would certainly feel guilty forever about this innocent man who had lost his life. Kay then asked if this kind of scene was too heavy, and I do let him know that yes, I hoped it wouldn't be something that would happen every game. He promised me that this was to be a one-time thing, and even assured me that I could get revenge if we found a way to prove the unlawful business of the Mafia. Unfortunately, the game was cancelled a few weeks later after the work schedule of one of the players changed. Even after the campaign fell apart, I stayed on the server as they offered plenty of one-shots. But every time I would see 1920s as the setting, I would just have a block and my mind would just go back to Kay describing the article. I realized that I was simply no longer comfortable playing in the classic Call of Cthulhu setting. After this, I did not leave the server, but basically stopped interacting with it, and only played one game set in the present. A few months ago, I received a notification, and saw that one of the other PCs in Kay's game posted and wanted to run a one-shot. Eager to play once more with him, as we had some good chemistry, I sent him a private message, and we started to talk about the setting. His game would take place in the 40s, and upon hearing this, I immediately let him know that I would rather have the racism minimized as much as possible. He immediately assured me that he did not want to explore this part of the world at all, and even confided in me that the scene he witnessed in Kay's game and the fallout made him extremely uncomfortable. Honestly, hearing this made me feel so much better about everything, as I was kind of beating myself up and wondering if I was not being overdramatic. I ended up playing in this game, and the one-shot expanded into a 4-session mini-campaign that was a lot of fun. This is where it ends. There's not really a proper conclusion. I still feel kind of icky playing the 20 setting in Call of Cthulhu if I'm being honest, but I no longer feel silly for it. I guess I'm posting this here as a way to finally share it with people, as it is something I never really talked about. Putting feelings I had bottled into words and letting go of them. If you read this all the way, thank you. End of story. It's at least good to know that the OP doesn't have any ill will towards the Keeper, and it's good that the Keeper could admit that it was too much, but this doesn't change the fact that it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Especially since the rest of the server pretty much agreed to exclude all forms of hate towards any kind of person, and this guy decided that he wanted to have his super accurate world to really make the horror feel genuine. Don't do this. If you think that this is necessary to run a horror-focused game in the 20s, then I think you've missed the point of a cosmic horror aesthetic. This is a game that's meant to allow you to have fun, regardless of if it's horror or not, and this just isn't how you do it. I'm glad that the Keeper was aware enough to at least see how OP was doing after the fact, but once again, it was kind of too late for that. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And if you want to watch a D&D campaign that doesn't have any horror in it, please check out our Heroes of Valeria campaign. With all that said and done, have yourselves a good day.